Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and figure out how to build an internal developer portal from absolute scratch, something that's going to completely transform your engineering team's output. If you've been watching the DevOps space lately, you already know that platform engineering has moved way past being just a cool experimental buzzword. It's absolute table stakes now for any serious organization. So today, we're breaking down exactly how you can build a platform that your developers will actually love using.
We really got to ask ourselves a pretty fundamental question here. Are our highly skilled developers actually, writing code? Or are they just constantly wrestling with manual infrastructure tickets? For years, the mantra was, you build it, you run it. But let's be real, in practice, that meant asking devs to suddenly act as part-time cloud architects, security experts, and Kubernetes admins. It meant them sitting in a Jira queue just to get a simple database provisioned. The cognitive load on developers has honestly become completely unsustainable. The harsh reality is that engineers are facing a massive tool sprawl crisis every single week. Studies are showing they're jumping between 5 to 7 different tools just to get one simple feature shipped. They've got to configure CI/CD pipelines, manage secrets, set up monitoring in Grafana or Datadog, write Terraform modules, all before they write a single line of actual business logic. It's like every single team is reinventing the wheel. But there is good news. Companies that deploy a proper internal developer portal are seeing massive, undeniable productivity boosts. So to fix this, today's explainer is going to cover the tool sprawl crisis, the architecture of an IDP, the critical difference between golden paths and railroads, the platform as a product mindset, and finally, the incredible ROI these platforms deliver. Section 1. The tool sprawl crisis. Let's kick things off by defining exactly what modern platform engineering is and why it's the ultimate solution to developer friction. What's super interesting here is the clear split between traditional DevOps and platform engineering. Traditional DevOps was this massive cultural shift, getting dev and ops talking, focusing heavily on automation. But platform engineering? That is the next evolution. It's an entirely dedicated discipline backed by the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, and it's 100% focused on designing tool chains and workflows that give your organization true, frictionless self-service capabilities. Section 2. Anatomy of an IDP. So how do we actually deliver this self-service magic to our teams? Well, the Internal Developer Portal, or IDP, acts as your unified product interface. Tools like Spotify's Backstage or Port are incredibly popular right now for this. The IDP centralizes a living software catalog, which is basically a real-time registry of all your services, ownership, and infrastructure. It gives devs these awesome self-service provisioning templates, meaning they can literally spin up a microservice with just a click. Plus, it bakes documentation right next to the code. Think of it kind of like a highly personalized AWS console, but abstracted and tailored specifically for your company's own internal ecosystem. Let's peek under the hood at how this builds a seamless GitOps workflow without totally overwhelming the developer. When a dev clicks Create Front-End App in the portal, they aren't just firing off some fragile hacky script. The IDP triggers a webhook that automatically opens a pull request in GitHub. Then, Terraform runs a plan for the underlying infrastructure. Once that's merged, your CI/CD pipeline, maybe using an agent like Argo CD, syncs everything directly to your Kubernetes cluster. The developer gets a running app with monitoring, logging, and security policies already applied, and the best part? They literally never had to touch a single YAML file. Now, here's a crucial point. You absolutely must avoid the dreaded portal-first trap. It's exactly like building a house. You need the solid data foundation of your service catalog before you start painting that beautiful front door UI. So many organizations fail because they set up this flashy portal but treat the underlying data model like an afterthought. Real features, bugs, and incidents aren't assigned to random repositories. They're tied to services. If your service catalog doesn't accurately map out your organization's relationships and ownership, I guarantee your portal's going to become useless really fast. Section 3. Golden Paths versus Railroads. So, with our foundation laid out, we need to guide our developers securely, but without trapping them in some rigid, inflexible system. There's a lot of industry jargon here, but it breaks down pretty simply. Golden paths, or paved roads, are highly opinionated, fully supported routes that developers voluntarily choose to take because they're just that easy. Guardrails, on the other hand, enforce safety boundaries, like making sure all databases are encrypted, no matter how they got provisioned. And then you have railroads. These are rigid, mandatory workflows. And honestly, you want to avoid railroads at all costs. If you force a 100% mandated template on your engineers, give it a few months, and they will absolutely find workarounds. The secret sauce is just making the right thing the easiest thing to do.
Section 4. Platform as a product. Getting developers to actually use these golden paths? Well, that requires a massive organizational mindset shift. You can't just build it and cross your fingers hoping they show up. The platform team has to act like a scrappy internal startup. You have to treat the developers as your primary customers and continuously iterate based on super tight feedback loops. If you're an engineer coming from a traditional sysadmin background, this is a huge pivot. You aren't just dictating how infrastructure runs anymore. You're actively marketing an internal product. You start with a minimum viable platform, find the biggest headache, like, say, developer onboarding taking 3 weeks instead of 3 hours, and you solve that one specific problem beautifully. That's how you build organic word-of-mouth adoption. A huge failure pattern we see over and over is teams trying to force complete, absolute adoption across every single department. Or they suffer from wild feature creep trying to cover every bizarre edge case. Don't do it. If you can hit an 80% voluntary adoption rate, consider that a massive, undeniable win. Let that 20% with highly specialized, weird edge case needs just do things their own way. If your platform serves the core 80% effectively, you have successfully removed a massive bottleneck from the business.
Section 5. Measuring IDP success.
Finally, let's talk hard numbers and the real return on investment a successful IDP brings to the table. Forrester research actually proves that organizations running a proper IDP see a 20% boost in overall developer productivity. Think about that. That translates to roughly 64 hours saved per developer per quarter. If you've got an engineering org of just 50 developers, you are essentially gaining 1.5 full-time engineers worth of productivity back into the business. All just by eliminating tool sprawl, ditching manual ticket requests, and removing the friction of hunting down documentation. This kind of automated efficiency is so incredibly powerful, it literally slashes timelines for massive enterprise projects. Just look at this data point. One company took a highly complex 24-month Kubernetes migration and shrank it down to just 16 months, entirely by utilizing an IDP. Because they centralized visibility, automated their production readiness scorecards, and proactively notified teams about required upgrades, they completely bypass the manual overhead that usually drags these huge projects to a halt. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought as we wrap up today's explainer. Is your engineering platform a true product that empowers your teams, or is it just another bureaucratic bottleneck slowing everyone down? If your developers are still opening support tickets just to provision basic resources, it is definitely time to start treating your platform like a product. Building out those golden paths and unleashing your developers to do what they actually do best: build great software. If you found this explainer valuable, please hit that like button, share it with your team, subscribe, and drop a comment below letting us know what AI and DevOps topics you'd love to see us break down next. We are seeing some unbelievable things happening with agentic AI operating right inside these developer portals, so let us know if you want to deep dive into that. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you in the next one.